Greetings, class, and welcome to Module 1, Ethical Foundations. I hope that everyone has had an opportunity to navigate through the Brightspace course shell. If you have any questions, please know that I'm available and to reach out if you have any questions or concerns. For this week, we do have a discussion. I would like to see you respond to the discussion prompt and then respond to two of your peers' posting. Ideally, those postings would occur on different days. So let's go ahead and begin with a discussion of Chapter 1 as well as Chapter 2. So Chapter 1 looks at several ethical theories, and those ethical theories are used as a way or as a guide to a good life and as a way to potentially solve ethical dilemmas. We know that ethics provides us a moral compass for decision making, and that includes during the pandemic, correct? With questions related to triaging as well as allocation of resources. We saw the use of ethical theories as a tool when the answer was not obvious and when there was public controversy. So ethical theories do help us to maintain consistency. We know that some ethical theories may work better in some situations than in others, and we will see that more as we move through the content for this term. In general, ethical theories can be broken down into two broad categories. These include character-based ethical theories, the ethics of being who you are, and they can also be action-based ethics of doing. When we look at character-based ethical theories, we're really asking who is a good person? Who is a good person? That is the center. That is the center of ethical reasoning. And this is the theory you think about when considering the cardinal virtues. What makes someone a good person? Are they wise? Are they courageous? Are they compassionate? The concern with character-based ethical theory alone is that it is subjective, right? We also have action-based ethical theories, and this category is broken down into two smaller categories. Deontological ethical theories are based on duties and obligations. So an example would be the Ten Commandments. The weakness of duty-based ethical theory is that it does not think about the circumstances you are in or the consequences of your action. So, for example, imagine someone breaks into your home and they have a weapon. You are consequently fearful, and so you draw your weapon because you also have a weapon, and so you shoot. Your actions are considered immoral and wrong because of the Ten Commandments. Thou shalt not kill. The circumstances are not considered. And so when we look at the ethical theory, your actions are not justified no matter the circumstances, because again, circumstances are not considered. When circumstances are considered, then we're using ontological ethical theory. Ontological ethical theory, a good example is when, let's say, you create a list of why or why not you should do something. Two examples of ontological ethical theory include utilitarianism and consequentialism. The weakness is how do you compare outcomes? Who's to say what is absolutely good or immoral? The second half of Chapter 1 explores the principles of biomedical ethics as virtues. I want you to be familiar with the four principles which aid healthcare professionals. These include autonomy, which we know is the freedom to choose, non-maleficence, which means to do no harm. This does not mean that there is no risk. Um, there may be some. We must weigh beneficence, which is promoting the patient's best interest, versus non-maleficence. Justice is the other principle, and this is the distribution of medical care services equitably. It is by far the most complex principle. So when we move across chapter 1 and 2, we will see more discussion in detail on the principles of healthcare ethics and how the different ethical theories come into play. The chapters also introduce us to the conditions that must be met for autonomy, including competence, as well as the two types of justice. So when we look at chapter 2 also introduces us to the reflective equilibrium model, and I do believe our discussion question is relative to the reflective equilibrium model. So we will explore that more in detail online as we continue our discussion. Both chapters 1 and 2 are important for a good foundation as we move forward the next 8 weeks. I would encourage you to ask any questions that you have online. Also, I want to mention that if I pose a question in the discussion thread and you respond to that discussion question, that it does count as a peer post. So if I pose a question and you respond to that question, it does count as a peer response. If you have any questions, again, please do not hesitate to reach out to me. But as you begin to move forward with discussion thread 1, I do encourage you to ask questions across the discussion threads. I encourage you to introduce content to facilitate discussion. And if you have any questions, again, please do not hesitate to reach out to me, and I look forward to our discussions this week. Thank you so much.